Hey, what's up everybody? It's time for another best cheap Steam games. This time we're looking again at under $20 and over $10. This list is based off an algorithm that I made that takes into account its Steam rating, amount of players, and its total amount of sales. We already looked at the top 5, but if you missed that video, you can find it in the description below. Don't forget that even though these games are already cheap, that you can enter them in Cheap Shark, get price notifications, and often these games are a little bit older and go on sale quite often, so a $20 game can become even $5 or less. That's all I got for right now, so let's go! Start looking at those games. The first game we're going to be talking about today at number 15 is one of the dearest games to me, Rocket League. This game pretty much made the top 15 just based on its huge player base that has been able to keep up over the last 3 years. It is the third most played game in the last 24 hours, under $20, and the 8th most sold copies out of all games that were sold under $20. Now the reason it got bumped down to 15 was because it is 67th in the rankings of rating. Well, most people have rated it negative if they have, because they say the community is bad. I haven't run into that myself. I've played many hours of Rocket League. I don't know what they're really talking about. A lot of people even say it's worse than League of Legends, which how could you ever have a community worse than League of Legends? To me, a lot of Rocket League is just quick chat, and if there's someone talking crap, then you just mute them. It's not a really big deal. So if you like racing games, if you like multiplayer competitive games, this one's really fun. It's really intense, and what I love about it is that it gives you good competitive gameplay with really short matches, around 5 minutes plus the extra time in between goals. So it's a really great game. I love it. If you're willing to invest about 50 hours to get somewhat decent, then that's when the real fun begins. So don't get it and expect to be good and play amazingly and have lots of fun with 5 and 10 hours. You gotta put in lots of practice, lots of gameplay to make it worth your while, but if you do, it's a really fun game, and it's number 15 on our list under 20. At number 14, we have probably one of the most recognizable hack and slash beat 'em up co-op games in Castle Crashers. This game is made by the Behemoth, which started out as a small developer, has gotten huge with games like Castle Crasher, BattleBlock Theater, and now recently Pit People, and all games are doing insanely well, and that's one of the reasons that this game has made number 14. It has the 15th best rating out of all games under $20 and the 18 most sold copies. The art style may seem a little bit too kid-friendly for you at first, but don't worry, lots of people, even adults, have played this game and loved it. The only negative reviews really are people having lag when they're trying to play multiplayer online co-op, and a lot of people are saying it's not very fun by yourself, so make sure you grab a friend if you're going to buy this game for you to play with. At number 13, we have Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and I have this game, but I must admit, I've just realized I'm really bad at shooters. You guys know me. You watch me play Fortnite, and I am atrocious at shooters. I haven't been good at a shooter since Call of Duty 4 on the PlayStation 3 when it first came out. However though, CSGO is one of the most popular games on Steam, and especially with games under $20, it is number 1 all across the board with total players and player peaks. However, it is 72nd on its scale of rating. A lot of people have negative votes on Steam for this game, saying that it's full of cheaters and hackers. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, because let's be honest, most times when you die, what's the first thing you're gonna blame? Cheaters and hackers, instead of admitting that maybe you're just like me and you actually suck. I do always applaud though Counter-Strike games for being really fast, fun-paced, round-based first-person shooters. However, maybe you're like me and you're just tired of getting destroyed in them all the time. At number 12, we have a blast from the past. At least for me, I haven't played a Tomb Raider game since PlayStation 1. Whew, man, I feel old. But this game has been released on Steam since 2013, is the 19th best rated game under $20, and has the 13 most sold copies. I always get a little bit worried about rebooted series after many years, because often they can be a cash grab just using the name to get a couple quick sales, but apparently a lot of people are saying it has great gameplay, the graphics that held up over 5 years still look good, and the story is pretty amazing. Of course, there always is a few haters though, and a couple of people said the port didn't run very well for them on their PC, there wasn't enough puzzles, and it was a little bit linear and repetitive. Barely missing out on the top 10, but still getting number 11 is Life is Strange, which may be a little bit different than what you're expecting for those of us that mostly play shooters or MOBAs or single player games that involve some type of action. This instead is a point and shoot episodic choices matter game on Steam that has done extremely well with being the 11th most positive rated game on our list and ranking 20th for the most amount of sales. This is a game that I never thought I would buy myself, but time and time again from my friends and people in my YouTube wolf pack, they say this is one of the best games they've ever played. So I finally caved and bought it myself. I haven't had enough time to play through it. I want to play through it with my wife Julia, but until then, just know that people say this is one of the best point and click games of all time. Your choices really do matter with multiple endings, and people say it's really one of the most emotional stories that they've ever seen in a video game. So if you're ready to cry a little bit, get into it, and accessing your emotional side, then this could be a really good game under $20. At number 10 is a game you're probably a little more familiar with, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. This game has been out since 2011 and has been killing it. It is probably now known as one of the best open world RPG games of all time, and it is seriously a classic. I'd be quite surprised if you haven't seen this game already or own it yourself, because it is the 4th most sold game on this list and has done pretty well with 54th best ratings. There has recently been more controversy over this game as Bethesda re-released it with updated graphics in 2016, but it now is $40, and they hide the original game that is actually under $20, but you can still find it on steamdb.info. I'll try to drop the link below. You can also find it on Cheap Shark. It often goes on sale, the original one for about $5, and you can get it for even cheaper. If you've never played this game, then I would highly recommend it. What's better than being able to make your own character that defeats dragons? And not to mention, it has so many mods. At number 9 is a game that I'm not super stoked about. It's Euro Truck Simulator 2. Now you might be asking, well then why did I put it in the list? Well, because I only add so much bias to my list, and I can only knock down things about 5 or 6 steps, and Euro Truck Simulator 2 actually is the 4th best rated Steam game under $20 and the 5th most amount played in the last 24 hours. I don't really get it. I think it's a really good simulation game, but it's not that exciting. You're just driving around a truck. But to be fair, it does have great details. It really teaches you about truck driving. If you played it with a wheel, then maybe it'd be a lot more fun than just playing it with a controller or mouse and keyboard. I've even heard people say they actually train truck drivers using this game. Now, I don't highly recommend it, but if you like really good simulation games, then go for it yourself. At number 8, we have Don't Starve. Now, to be fair, in the top 5, we already had Don't Starve together, and I got that on sale a couple weeks ago, but I feel like Don't Starve deserves to be talked about real quick again, just because it is such a great game. It has such positive ratings and is the 15th most sold on our list. This is a great open world survival crafting game. There's really fun, really cool art. Someone with a weird imagination must have come up with a lot of different things, because there are some funky things in the game. However, there is one gripe about the game, and that is that it has permadeath. So if you're someone that isn't driven by achievement and trying to get further and further, then you're going to be frustrated because you're going to have to restart, and the game's going to feel quite repetitive because you're going to be restarting and doing the same thing. At number 7, we have The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, which is a top-down shooter with randomly generated levels each time, which make it a roguelite that has insane replay value, an insane amount of items, an insane amount of level ups and weapons that you can use. You can play the game in a lot of different ways. Seriously though, when I say replayability, this game has so much replayability. There's people in the comment section on Steam that have over 1,000 hours on it. Even one guy has over 10,000 hours just in this one game, and the average total playtime is 117.5 hours, which is so much content for just a game that's under $20. The few negative reviews it does have on Steam, well, it's mostly people complaining about RNG hell, and you are going to die, and sometimes it can be frustrating for dying for the worst of reasons. Today we're going to end at number 6, which is Mount & Blade Warband, one of the best open world RPG games of all time, with heavy, intense medieval realism. There's so much that matters. Your character choices, who you're going to be, who you're going to talk to, what factions and kingdoms you're going to work for. If you want to be a seller, if you want to be a king, if you want to be a bandit, there's so many different choices and everything matters, and it's insane the depth and realism and the great job they did at throwing you into medieval times. Even being released way back in 2010, it is still one of the most loved Steam games of all time. Even in the last 24 hours, it is number 16 on our list, and hopefully finally they'll release number 3. Who knows? As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I love hearing you guys talk about Steam games, so drop a comment below or even join our Discord where we talk PC and Steam gaming, and as well just talking about life. I want to know what you guys are up to. If you're having a good time or maybe going through a hard time and you need someone to talk to, I'm here for you guys, and I hope to see you guys in the next video and also hear from you maybe even sooner than that. Peace out.